you cut down a tree and then you dress its corpse in candles?
I love it.
Let's unpack the magic. Welcome to another episode of the Teen Unicorn Podcast. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Sammy.
And today we are going to be talking about our favorite Christmas traditions.
Yay! I love our Christmas traditions.
This is something that we thought would be really fun to kind of, invite everyone into kind of our family, into our home, and see what we do around the Christmas time. And I was writing the list down of like all the stuff, and like we have a lot of traditions.
We do. We have a lot.
And they start pretty early, so I'd, I guess maybe just get right on into it and see what we have.
Well, I don't know. Do you want to talk about like stuff you did growing up, or?
Sure. Yeah.
Do you have anything that comes to mind?
I guess growing up, I remember we did a lot of our traditions were had a lot to do with my grandma Helen.
Yeah.
We did Christmas Day and New Year's over by Grandma Helen's house. Christmas, we'd always go over there, and Grandma would always have a present for all the grandkids.
Yes, and this is your great grandma.
My great grandma, yes. She'd have presents for all the grandkids there. She would make just tons and tons of food. There would be candies down the hall. I guess like we'll get into like our tradition of making candies, but like that really stemmed from like my grandma Helen.
Yeah.
Because you'd walk down like the hallway in her house, and like she'd have these big like almost like hat boxes. But I mean like huge hat boxes.
Yeah.
Just full of like candies, like Russian tea cakes or like angel food cake, peanut butter balls, and like it was just there. Like you could just take like whatever package size you want and just grab
Yeah.
all you wanted. So we did a lot at my great grandma's house before she passed away, and then I remember like my grandma at my house, we would always do Christmas cookies, like frost sugar cookies.
Yeah.
I remember she would cut the old like grocery, like the brown paper grocery bags, and she would cut those out and she'd get them all on the table, and then we have these sugar cookies, which I think she got them like from a store at one point, like the dough itself.
Oh yeah.
Because
like she's the festy dough.
The festy dough. And because she'd always like towards the end, like she complains about it because it wasn't like it's not as good as last year.
Yeah.
They didn't add something to it.
Well, like, 1 year I think they actually didn't. I think they forgot
they like straight
baking
up
soda or something.
But I remember like she'd bake the cookies and get them all on the dinner table, and these brown grocery bags were just full of like, I don't want to say like oil and fat or whatever, but like they had like
you can see like the
oil
grease.
stain, the grease stains from like the butter and the cookies, and it'd just be like the entire table. And then like once they cool down, like we all get around and there'd be like 8 or 9 different bowls of like icing, and you just go ahead and frost everything.
Yeah.
And I think that was probably the biggest tradition I remember growing up, was doing frosting sugar cookies over at my grandma's house. My house. But
your house growing up.
Yeah. Growing up, it was me, my grandma, my grandpa, my mom, my uncle, and my sister. So all of us, you were in a house together, and it was really cool because there were so many people there. And
yeah.
But yeah, that was probably like the biggest tradition I remember, like just frosting grandma's sugar cookies. What about you?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Like my family, like growing up, is pretty small. Like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just me, my sister, my mom, and then my mom's parents, so my grandparents, and then one of her sisters, so my aunt. And that was pretty much it for, like, as far as, like, holiday, like, get-togethers. But, like, yeah, I remember, like, when my grandparents still had their house, we would go over there for, like, dinner and do, like, Christmas presents over there. And we couldn't, like, we would usually get, like, one present to open on, like, Christmas Eve. And then we would have, like, our Santa presents and stuff on Christmas Day. But, yeah, it was kind of hard, like, I guess, growing up, just because my mom, like, she works retail. And, like, her schedule is always, like, weird. So, like, it wasn't, like, anything like super consistent, I guess, like as far as like what we did like every year, like because I know there were some years like we did like sugar cookies like with my grandma, and sometimes we did them with my mom. But we always like had like Christmas dinner. Like I just remember like always having like the ham and all of that, and like doing presents. So yeah, but that's really like evolved like with the two of us. Like I feel like we have like so many like traditions and like so much more stuff that we like do.
Yeah, or we've taken like stuff that we have been traditions growing up, and like I don't want to say like we've like plus them up, but like we've definitely like really made them a tradition, or try to, you know, evolve them into something bigger than
because
what we had.
Like growing up, like Christmas Eve, like I don't really remember that being like a big thing, but Christmas Eve is like the night we host everybody, and like so we get like a big Christmas Eve and like the big like Christmas Day, so it's kind of like a 2-day like event, which I really like.
Yeah, and like and then going after Christmas, and this tradition kind of stayed strong for a little while up until the last couple of years, but then going into New Year's.
Yeah, which I think is super cool with your family.
Yeah, we would always do lasagna on New Year's Day over at my great grandma's house, and then when she passed away, her son, so like my great uncle, Muff, would take it over, and he did that for like a long time, and I think the pandemic kind of put a little damper on that. But
I was gonna say the last couple of years we haven't really done it, but
we've talked about it, and then it really wasn't on New Year's Day, and then it was like, you know, when can we figure out to still do it? So I think it's one of the traditions that I don't want to say is dying, but like I think it just hasn't happened a whole lot lately, and then I think some family members are trying to like hold on to it as much as we can, but I just don't know if it like
because
it's just hard.
Yeah, that was fun because you know, obviously like I think like for Christmas like you just have kind of like your immediate like family that you get together with. Like the New Year's Day was just kind of nice to get like more extended family like together and stuff.
Because I mean on my grandpa's side, like it's a big family on that side. Because there's several brothers and sisters, and then you know, they have like their spouses and their families. So like I remember like going to my great grandma's house on Christmas and New Year's, and you know, there was probably like upwards of 20 to 30 people in the house, and coming and going. It's a small little, like, I mean, not even ranch style house.
I didn't get to know Grandma Helen like in her heyday. Like by the time we got together, she was pretty
elderly.
Elderly and not very mobile. Like she definitely wasn't doing like the Christmas candies or anything like that. I still remember, and I have it still, the Christmas card that she gave me the first time that I went over there, and it said for Tyler Sammy on the Christmas card. But yeah, it's a small house, and like there is a lot of people in there.
And she always would decorate it really nice on the inside. There's always like a nice Christmas tree. But then my grandma would either make or have like the really old school style like cardboard like houses. Like I think she had a church they made out of like cardboard, kind of like these ones that are on the desk if you're watching on the YouTube. She would have those, and she'd have like a little Christmas village on, because like on one side of her living room there was like this really long like credenza with a big mirror on the background of it. And then on that everything would be taken off for the Christmas season, and she'd have like this huge Christmas village made up there. And I really, really liked that. That was one of like my favorite things.
We've talked about that. It's just we don't have the space.
Like I think we do have this. We can make the space.
Yeah, we would definitely need to make like I just sent you a TikTok about somebody that made like it almost looks like a tree, but it's like a platform, like so it's tiered, and I think we should like
that would be really cool.
That.
I mean, and I've talked for the last couple of years about really wanting to make like they have like that kind of Christmas village, because after my great grandma passed, like that wasn't something that, you know, happened anymore. And I guess as of lately, I've just been like, God, I really would like, especially like going to like Target doesn't really have them too much, but Menards has them quite a bit. They have like a huge display of like all like the little town sets that you can put into like a Christmas display.
Mm-hmm.
Walmart has some of them too. So I think that'd be really cool to do eventually, maybe to bring something like that back. But a lot of my like Christmas traditions that I kind of hold dear, like come from my great grandma.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And then that like you said before, it just kind of spills over into like what we do now, which I really like because I didn't grow up like nobody in my family, like we didn't do like Christmas candies. We didn't really do much like Christmas baking, I guess, or anything like that. So I love that we do so much of that now.
Yeah.
But our like holiday Christmas season really kicks off the day after Halloween.
Oh, which is so conveniently happens
I know,
to be your
just
birthday.
to be my birthday on November 1st. Like it's so weird because like growing up I didn't really like I don't want to say like I like disliked my birthday time. Like I always thought it'd be fun to have like a birthday in like a warmer month or whatever, because I don't really like the cold. But since like we've gotten together and definitely like having our house and stuff, like I love that my birthday's on November 1st. Like it's really made me love it more, and I love that it kicks off like our Christmas season.
Yeah. And so I guess the first thing that we do like to kind of really kick off the Christmas season is putting up the tree and putting up the Christmas lights outside.
The Christmas lights, yeah, because as many of you know, we live in Wisconsin. Like it gets like I know a lot of people like like to wait until like after Thanksgiving or more into November to start decorating. You do that here, and you could have like snow. It can be really cold. Like,
and as of lately, the last couple of years, it's been very rainy too.
Yeah, very rainy. So that makes it harder, I feel, to like put up lights. So I'm all for like, the last couple weeks of October tend to be pretty nice still. So I'm like, well, at least just get them up on the house. Like we don't turn them on until November.
Well, we say that, but I mean, they sometimes will sneak on. But yeah, and it's so I guess it's kind of like the goal that we try to hit every year is when the weather is still nice, somewhat decently nice in October, to get up the Christmas lights outside. And then we try to have the Christmas tree up by November 1st.
Yeah, or somewhere along, depending, like, if my birthday, like, if November 1st is during the week, maybe we'll do it that weekend. Like,
right.
Because it takes probably like 4-ish hours to put up the tree and get all the ornaments on the tree because of all of our Hallmark ornaments and the way like we pack them. And
because we have this really gorgeous tree, and I don't want to ever get rid of it. But the lights don't, the color lights don't work on it. The white lights work decently fine on it.
You can tell they're starting to dim though. They're not as bright.
But we got it from a place called Santa's Best, which was a Christmas tree warehouse factory down in Manitowoc, just like a half hour, 45 minutes south of us here. And they just had really gorgeous Christmas trees. And every year, I think around like Labor Day or sometime in September, they'd have like a big warehouse sale to get rid of like all the old inventory from the year before. So like you could pick up like a gorgeous tree for really super cheap. And it was exactly what we did. I think our tree was only like $150.
It still has the price on it. It's $150 for like, it's so wide and full. Like, and it's not a tree that you have to fluff it. Like, you literally just open it up and it just does its thing.
The lights, it was pre-lit on there. It came with several different functions when the lights worked. Our kind of big key takeaway was that it also had pink lights on it. So that was like something that we really liked, or purple lights.
Purple lights.
And so we love this tree. We've talked about going through and actually snipping off all of the lights from the tree and restringing the tree with lights because we love this tree so much.
Yeah, like we've looked the last couple of years.
Just nothing compares.
Nothing compares. Like anything, like, well, and like our ceiling, like we can't get anything more than like a 7.5 foot tree. So when you're looking in the stores, like those trees just tend to like have a lot of holes in them.
They look dinky.
Yeah. And so I think after or like once we take the tree down this year, I think we're just gonna do it and
have to do it.
Pluck all the lights off and get some new ones on there. because whatever tree we buy, we're not going to like as much as this one. So
but
that'll be.
So getting the tree like
Yeah.
physically up and that's fairly easy.
Yeah, getting it up is fine.
It's just then decorating it.
Yeah.
And we don't put any like tinsel or garland or anything on it. There's no additional lights that we put on it. It's just we have so many ornaments, and a majority, I'd say like 90% of them are Hallmark ornaments.
Yep.
And because we're collectors and we do the same thing that we do with our Funkos, we don't throw the boxes away. We keep the boxes. So we have like, I think like 4 totes just like huge totes just full of all these boxes of ornaments. So then you have to take all the boxes out, open up every single one, take all the ornaments out, put the wrapping pack in the box, and then, you know, keep the box preserved. So that takes quite a while. And like you said, it takes a couple hours. It's
about 4 hours most years to do it, which is fine. I mean, we usually put on like Christmas music or
we'll do it sometime, or even like a football game, like the Packers are playing.
Yeah, if the Packers are playing, we'll like do it during the game. But yeah, so that's why we just want to make sure that we give ourselves enough time, because like when we first started putting up the tree, we kind of didn't realize like how long, and it'd be kind of like we'd start it like later in the evening and be like, okay, well, we need to get like dinner, we need to get like showers taken,
and then it became a 2-day event. So.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we kind of got it down pat, and we know how much time to allot for it. But yeah, so usually like November 1st or like that first weekend in November is when like the tree and the decorations for sure go up.
Yeah.
In the house.
And I think that just, it's because we love Christmas so much, it's just something that makes sense to us to put them up that early. I know there are some people that kind of are Scrooges about that, I guess.
Some people are really strict, like they don't do anything until after Thanksgiving or like December 1st or whatever. And
I guess if it's a tradition, like I understand, but like if you're just more like, you have to celebrate Thanksgiving first, I'm like, no, you don't.
I know, because I asked you, I think like a couple weeks ago, I'm like, well, like what Thanksgiving movies are there, or like what Thanksgiving songs are there? Like there's nothing like really specific for Thanksgiving. Like to me, like Thanksgiving is just wrapped up in the Christmas season. Like you just have like a nice dinner with your family at some point. Like I don't know, so it's not like we skip Thanksgiving, but you know, Thanksgiving just isn't like, I don't know, celebrated as much, or there's not really that much stuff that you do for Thanksgiving other than just have a nice meal. But yeah, and like as far as like us putting it up so early, like another thing is like because we have all those ornaments and we spend a lot of time and money on them, like
we want to enjoy
them. So I'm okay if the tree, you know, if it's up like November 1st, like it usually stays up, like I'd say at least midway through January most years.
Yeah, if not into February, depending on you know, just how ambitious we are after Christmas.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just nice to enjoy them, and you know, obviously with the lights putting up, if we can take them down fairly, you know, quickly after Christmas, we will.
Yeah, I know there was one year like we had them down, I think like on New Year's Day, because the weather was just so nice.
So nice.
Because otherwise, like if it's already been snowy and like things are like iced over, like that stuff's not coming up until March at the earliest. And then so yeah, Christmas lights outside we're definitely okay like taking down early,
and just because they're up, they don't have to like, you don't have to turn them on by any means. So but those are kind of like our two kind of, you know, starting points. November 1st, have that set to go. That'll kick everything off. I know you tend to do a little bit more decorating in the house as well. We have like our entertainment area and our fireplace and mantle that you get decorated, and you happen to find quite a bit of stuff from Target for that.
Yeah, like it's just pieces like here and there that we've collected over the last few years, because we've really changed our decorating style over the years. I know like when we were at the apartment, it was a lot more like traditional, like red and green kind of things. And as we've gotten into the house and like our style has changed, so it's definitely more
like blush pinks and whites and maybe like really like light blues, grays and neutral tones.
Yeah, and then maybe like some dark green, because I know like our stocking holders are those like darker green, like Christmas trees.
That's still muted though.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's definitely like more like light and airy, I think, and it's just more
Mhm.
like wintry, and we get like the little battery powered like lights that we like string up like
Well,
on
like the
like
fairy lights.
yeah, the fairy lights. So yeah, I don't know. It just like it looks all cozy and stuff, and I feel like it's just more our style. Like
Mhm.
so yeah, if anything, like if there's anything pink that comes out like for Christmas, usually try to snag that up as long as it like goes with everything. But
Yeah, so it's kind of been like an amalgamation of like several years worth of stuff just grabbing from
yeah,
Target. But I think like that's the best type of Christmas decoration is that you're not going out and buying like, you know, everything you need all at once and then just, you know, kind of spewing it over across the
yeah,
house. Like, you know, this is just kind of like bits and pieces of things that you're like, oh, like this would look good here, or like, oh, this would look good for that thing that we bought like a couple years ago.
yep,
So and that's just kind of how it works. And, you know, we've got some like really cute like snowmen, like plushy snowmen,
hmm
or like the little birds we get.
the Target
The
birds,
Target birds,
yeah,
got to get those. I think we've gotten like at least one Target bird almost every year. Some of them they've retired back into totes. I was just going through when I was
yeah,
finding some Christmas lights for the desk for the episode. I was going back and I had saw some of the old birdies that we retired, and I'm like, yeah, those definitely aren't the same.
they're not our
They're not the
style
style anymore, but they're still cute.
They're
And
yeah,
we still keep a lot of that. So we've got quite a bit of stuff in storage for all of our Christmas stuff, and it's just, you know, it's fun to take it out every year and see what we all have and get decorated again.
yeah, I love decorating. Like it's just so fun. But yeah, so yeah, usually I'll do that upstairs. I think I did it like one day when you were at work, and I
Mhm.
just got all the upstairs decorated.
So then after we have the house decorated, outside decorated, trees up, then there's usually just kind of a couple weeks before we get to Thanksgiving where stuff is up, but we may not, you know, turn the lights on, or there's not, we don't really do anything with them. They're just, you know, we're just getting prepared
Yeah,
for the Christmas
probably
season.
doing like some present shopping, getting ready for Black Friday, and like all that.
Yeah, but then right around Thanksgiving is when we really, I think we've been trying to make the conscious effort to like kind of start wrapping up Christmas shopping by Black Friday. So trying to get like the last couple things by then, so like we're done Christmas shopping. It doesn't usually happen that way.
Yeah, I think the goal is to have like most of it done.
Yeah.
Like so going into December, it's just usually like just a few things that we have to like kind of wrap up.
So then from there, it's really, you know, starting to wrap Christmas presents, which we're at right now. Well, by the time this episode comes out, hopefully all our Christmas presents will be wrapped underneath the tree.
Yeah, they should be wrapped under the tree.
So we'll have that portion, or that kind of hopefully wrapped up by the beginning of December.
Yeah.
And then we at this around the same time we'll start working on Christmas cards.
Yeah.
And Christmas cards is something big that we've kind of really gotten into since we've been together.
Yeah, because I don't really remember my mom like sending Christmas cards.
Me either.
We by no means did like the photo, the like the nice cute family photo card, Christmas cards or whatever. So yeah, I think that's something that we started not like right away, because I remember we still did like kind of like old school Christmas cards. And then I know one year, yeah, we like decided we want to do the photo cards, and like we've been doing those ever since.
I want to say it was probably around like 2013 or 14 when we started doing like the picture ones, and it was just kind of like adventures throughout the year. We put a couple pictures on there, and it was nothing, you know, big on that by any means. And then throughout the years they've gotten like higher quality cards or more pictures on the cards. Or I know for a while there we were writing like little like messages about what we did throughout the year.
Yeah, and that really depends on how much space we have. Like I definitely still like to do that. I know this year, like the card that we picked, we just didn't have a lot of space to write. But
which is fine. But yeah, we really love and enjoy sending Christmas cards out, and getting Christmas cards as well. But we've done like Shutterfly this year. We went with Costco just for the price. It was just kind of made a little bit more sense with where we were financially coming back from Disney.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just one of those things that we really enjoy to do. And I know I try to like, I want to like keep one of the Christmas cards every year, so like we can go back and like see all of our Christmas cards every single time, every single year.
I'm pretty sure we have one of every?
We do because like I remember like we get a couple or we get like a bunch of them to send out, and there'd always be like a handful of them that we'd have like extra.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, well, we'll get rid of all of them except one.
Yeah.
So then we have them going forward. But you know, throughout the years, maybe our list of people or families to send the Christmas cards have dwindled a little bit, but you know, we still do the Christmas cards and get them sent out.
Yeah, I mean, we're not like strictly like we only send cards to people that send them to us, because I know we send some cards to people that just don't do Christmas cards,
and
but
that's a-okay.
Yeah, and that's fine. But yeah, we definitely are into Christmas cards. We don't really do special pictures for them. I know some people will do like specific like holiday pictures for their Christmas cards.
Yeah, we did a couple years ago though.
Yeah, I think because we had gotten all matching PJs like with us and the girls, and
that was really cute.
Specific. Yeah, my friend came over and she took a couple pictures, so those were added to like our pictures. But usually we try to pick a few pictures throughout like the whole year to kind of like highlight stuff from the year. But yeah, definitely love doing the Christmas cards.
Mm-hmm. All right, so then after the Christmas cards, depending on when we get those, we kind of then turn gears into what I assume is your favorite, because it's also one of my favorite traditions that we have throughout Christmas and the holiday time is our baking and candies.
Yes. Yeah. So we have, like the last few years. I don't remember exactly when it started.
I want to say it's been about 5 or 6 years now we've been doing
it. Because I know we
it.
did it at your grandma's house, I think a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when she had like her surgery, and then we just did it over at our house.
Yep.
I don't know. But anyways, we definitely like do like a whole weekend. I think it's kind of turning into like two weekends. Just to do like, so one weekend we'll do like just candies. So we'll do like peanut butter balls, the turtles, Oreo truffles.
And we kind of add a new thing here or there every year. It always seems like we try something new in terms of candies. And when we say candies, we mean like chocolates.
Yeah, anything that you have to chocolate.
Because I don't want to make it seem like we like are going out making like taffy or like or candy canes or anything. But like, so when we say like we're making Christmas candies, we're making Christmas chocolates.
Yeah.
And like we make a lot of them.
Most like the peanut butter balls, like we do a double batch. The Oreo truffles are a double batch.
And like these batches like can yield a lot. So like, I mean, we're talking like upwards of 10 dozen peanut butter balls and Oreo truffles. The turtles, there's usually about, I don't know, like
those I usually just do one batch.
Well,
one batch of the caramel.
But
if you do homemade caramel.
Yeah, but even then it's like 5 or 6
it makes
dozen.
A lot.
And so there's quite a bit. There's so much chocolating that goes on along to it.
So much chocolate.
But then the reason that we do all of that, one is because that was instilled in like I guess my childhood growing up as something that great grandma Helen used to do. And she would, like I said at the beginning, she would always have these huge boxes of candies and chocolates and, you know, goodies for everyone just to come on over to her house whenever you wanted to, especially at, you know, around Christmas time, just to come and grab whatever you wanted and to bring them home. And I remember I think, and Jay still loves them, like the Russian tea cakes.
Yeah, which we don't make, but maybe we can.
Try it. But I mean, that was just like something like my great grandma was just like, she apparently made the best Russian tea cakes. They're not like a huge.
They're not my favorite, but.
Or she'd like make like the angel food that was dipped in chocolate. She'd always make the peanut butter balls. Those were always my favorites. So like we've taken that and really did it, you know, kept that tradition going along with us.
Yeah.
But then the main reason that we do all that chocolating and the baking is that we then take that and then give it to family members or to others.
Yeah. So since we do it, like nobody else in the family really does it. I know your grandma, Aunt Carol, she would do sometimes like with her family and then send your grandma like a goodie box.
Yeah.
And that was after I think Grandma Helen had passed.
And even up until recently she was still doing that.
Yeah, you know, because then it kind of was just like, oh well, if she's not doing it, like I guess like who's gonna take over like making all these candies and stuff. And yeah, we just kind of were like, we'll do it.
Hi, it's me.
Yeah, so we make tons of it just because, yeah, we share with like your grandma and mom and
My side of the family.
Yep.
Your sister really likes the Oreo truffles.
or no, the peanut butter
Or
balls.
the peanut butter balls.
Yeah.
We send quite a bit down to your dad and family down in Georgia.
Yeah, so it's kind of like their Christmas present essentially. Like we don't really like get them like
A Christmas present.
Yeah,
and
so we just
it's hard to celebrate a Christmas with them across states. So
yeah, so that's usually their Christmas present. And my dad loves it. Like he loves our goodie box every year. So yeah, and we send a box to like your Aunt Carol and then my grandma. Yeah, so yeah, we just make tons of it and then we just give it away. And honestly, like that's probably like one of my favorite things about like Christmas is like just doing any kind of baking or candy making and then just giving it away to people. Because I know we do it for like our neighbors too. Like we'll just go over and just, do like little box of goodies and like they love it. And
or even like some of my friends at work, even like last year, I would, even if it was just a small little box.
Yeah.
And even like one of my friends who I used to work with, she moved out to Wausau. We'll still send her a box of chocolates and some cookies, just because like it's such a good feeling to do that.
Yeah, and it's something that they like people look forward to because like it's homemade stuff and like people like really enjoy that. So then they're like, well, when are you making these cookies or like these candies and stuff? And yeah, so I love that. Like I love like making the stuff and then just like giving it away. So
yeah, so I mean we've done a lot of like the chocolating and the candies, and then with baking, there's quite a bit of different types of things that we bake for in terms of like cookies, because we'll do like the traditional sugar cookies, which when I say traditional, I mean we got a really good recipe from from a friend's family.
Yes, shout out to Joanne, aka my best friend's mother-in-law. She makes the best sugar cookies
of all time.
And she's very nice and she shares the recipe and that and her frosting. It's her sugar cookies and her frosting recipe and they are amazing. So we do the handmade sugar cookies and they turn out so good. And last year was the first year like in a while that we actually had like the whole family over for decorating sugar cookies.
And I think that's definitely a new tradition for us.
Yeah, I really enjoy that because we just got out like the big folding table out in the living room and like got all the icing and sprinkles, all the decorating stuff, and like it was so fun. Like because before that, usually you and I would just
and that was a long process.
That was a lot because how many like dozens of cookies? Like,
I mean, we're talking probably like 5 or 6 dozen at minimum sugar cookies, and then we were frosting them all by ourselves. It's just a lot of work. So having everyone come on over and just taking a few of them and frosting really helps and goes a long way. Like you said, we had everyone over. I think we had dinner that day.
Your mom made masticali for
Mom
us
made
for
masticali,
dinner,
which is another awesome kind of tradition that we always have. Sometime throughout the holiday season, it seems, and we watched Christmas movies, and everyone just kind of came over and just frosted sugar cookies with us. So that was such a fun thing, and I'm glad that we've already decided that we're going to be doing that this year. By the time this comes out, we'll have already done that. So that's another fun tradition I hope to keep going.
Yeah, for sure. Because I know like your grandma would do that in the past. Like we've gone over to like her house, and it would just be like just like, I don't know, the 6 of us. And then, but no, like my mom and sister came over and your sister's boyfriend, Dustin, like he came over last year. And so it was just really nice, like having everyone together and doing that. So that was just like just another fun thing to do.
Yeah. So we'll send those out. So we also make, in terms of cookies, you have this incredible cranberry white chocolate chip cookie recipe, which is my hands down favorite cookie that we make. We've been making these like Dove crinkle cookies.
I think last year
or the year before, one of the two.
I think last year was the first year we put Dove chocolate on it. But it's like the chocolate crinkle cookie. I don't know if people.
And so this is a weird, I guess not weird, but it's a fun story. So that kind of stemmed because I saw the cookie at Epcot during Festival of the Holidays, and I'm just like, I want it. I want that cookie.
Yeah, and there was that YouTube video of the guy making like his like.
Yes, and so there's to chorus to go with that.
Yeah.
Then we saw a YouTube video of a guy making like his mom's like secret or famous crinkle cookie. So like when I saw like, oh well, there's a really like unique story to like this crinkle cookie, and it looks amazing. It's so fudgy and thick, but it's so like soft. And then combine it with the way that they look at Epcot. I'm like, we need to make these two together. Yeah. We started making them, and they're like, they're so good. They're so good.
Yeah, so that's definitely a newer one that's been added to the list. Another one that I've been making for a while is the raspberry thumbprint cookies.
Oh yeah. Oh man, those are so good.
And they're so simple. They're just a shortbread cookie with seedless raspberry jam in the middle.
Put your little thumbprint in it.
Oh, and then the little drizzle of icing.
Yeah. Those, okay, I lied. Those are my favorite ones. So yeah, like we'll have, all those. And then I know we've done the peanut butter blossom cookies in the past.
Yeah, and those are okay. Like those are they're kind of whatever. Like,
I was very excited about them, and then you found like those other recipes, and then it's like, okay, I like those ones more.
Yeah.
So between all those, we have that, and then we do like the circle pretzels with like the kiss and the M&M in it.
Yeah, we do those. And then you came up with a new candy kind of thing.
Yeah,
last couple of years, and it was just because we had so much leftover melted chocolate.
It's kind of like a s'mores brittle or a s'mores bark. We had like some old mini marshmallows left over and some of the graham crackers that we used from the peanut butter balls, and I just mixed them all together with the chocolate.
Yeah, because we crushed up the graham crackers.
Yep. And then
mini
marshmallows, and then I just scooped them into like they look like little poops.
Yeah, they don't look very appetizing. Like, no, but like the crumbles, like with the graham crackers, like they're very like lumpy, I guess.
Yeah, and they look like little poops.
Yeah,
but they don't taste like little poops.
They're so good. So yeah, it's just like a s'mores
poop.
Yeah, I don't know, but we just kind of made a few because we had extra melted chocolate that we're just, because usually we'll just do like peanuts, and we'll just throw peanuts in and just do peanut clusters just because that's the easiest.
And not that I don't mind peanut clusters, but I wanted something a little bit different.
Yeah, like that's not.
And we still made some peanut clusters by no means.
Yeah, but no, and like everyone loved those s'mores bark thing.
And as much as I love the peanut butter balls, like I think I was going to the s'mores clusters a little bit more.
Those are really good. So we'll have to like specifically like make sure to like make those again this year. But yeah, and I love, like, I usually like to try like, I don't know, 1 or 2 new things for the season. I don't know what those are yet this year. I'm sure I probably have it figured out by the time this episode airs, but yeah, I love baking, and it's so fun. It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
it's definitely a lot of work, but it's really worth it. And it's the only time of year that we do this. But I love it.
And then I think a funny little anecdote on this is that for the longest time, and I don't know if my grandma got it from great grandma Helen, but there's this double boiler that she had.
Oh yeah.
And it was super old. Like it was
so old.
It was like a tin pots with like the double boiler on top, and like the handles were like made out of wood. I mean, it was
loose. Like you had to like screw, like make sure like they were screwed on tight before you begin doing the caramels.
And so like we would use that for like the caramels too. And so like there was just so much that use out of that, and like we'd go and ask grandma to use it or whatever. And so then one year we had gotten grandma a new one, like a really like a nicer one, and she liked it so much and you liked it so much that we had to get you one.
Yeah, then I got one too.
I think the very next Christmas, then you got one, and we've been using it ever since. Was it the same Christmas?
I'm not sure.
We used it once and we're like, oh my god, I can't believe like we never used this before.
My gosh. It was in one of the first years that we did them over by your grandma's house. We weren't using the double, like we weren't using the double boiler correctly, like at like because I know we had to like call your Aunt Carol and be like,
how do you do this?
Yeah, like what are we doing wrong? Like because it's handmade caramel that we do for the turtles.
Yep. So that's also very tricky too.
Yeah, but it just turns out so good. And I know one year your grandma did like she did like I don't know if she had extra. I think she did another batch because she had more of the condensed milk, and she did like just caramels, and like she wrapped them up in like the wax paper one year. It's so yummy. But yeah, I love that because I did not grow up with that stuff at all. Like baking is just not something that my mom really did a lot of growing up. And, I didn't really, do it much myself. But like once, we got together and then, learning about, what your grandma Helen did and, all that. And then, just kind of taking it over. Like I just, I love that we get to do it together. And, and we have a lot of good memories. Like, it's always just a big thing, but, it's something that we just really enjoy doing together.
So yeah, that's kind of when it comes to baking, like that's I don't want to say that's all we do, like because we do so much stuff when it comes to baking. But like you said, it's just fun to make this out and then give it away to people. I know your dad's really funny. Like we'll send out like we just get like the really cheap like Ziploc kind of like food containers to put into.
Oh yeah, just like the plastic ones. Yeah,
and then he'll send them back. So
he'll send them back,
like as if he's like, okay, now it's time to fill them back up and send
refill.
for a refill.
I think one year he sent us like bags of chocolate. I don't know what kind they were, but
yeah, like, so like to use for the next time you make up some stuff.
And it's funny because his favorite it's the raspberry thumbprint cookies are his favorite too. But yeah, I don't know. And yeah, so then we're kind of like booking our weekends because that usually takes a couple weekends. And yeah, so between like trying to do that and watch all our Christmas movies and do stuff around town, it books up really fast for the holidays.
Yeah, and I guess on that note, we did 2 weeks ago we did a Christmas movie draft between the two of us, which we'd encourage you to go and listen to. And there we talk about some of our favorite Christmas movies and what we watch throughout the year. But we always have to get in the classics and get in the ones that always like, mean the most to us. So we'll usually like watch the Christmas movies like when we're like wrapping presents, or just at night throughout the week if we're if it's a work night or whatever, we'll just lay down on the couch and just watch a movie, which is really nice. But that's I guess a tradition that we keep is just we have all these movies that like we need to get to, like or all these Christmas specials that we just need to get to, just to get us really into the holiday spirit throughout the year. And then you mentioned that there's not all the stuff that we do at home, but there's so much to do like outside in town as well.
Right. Yeah, I know we had talked about it in our movie showdown, like the Titletown district at Lambeau Field. Like there's always so much to do around there, and you can definitely go like multiple times like throughout the year. And I guess that's not something that you like have to do like before Christmas, because they definitely like continue like their winter festivities after Christmas, but it's definitely nice to like get in that stuff before.
Well, and some of the stuff like Santa will be there, like they actually have like actual reindeer that come there as well. So there are some certain things that need to get done before Christmas, but it's just really beautiful over there, and it's just another nice thing to do in town.
Yeah, and then another thing that Green Bay has, which I'm sure other places have too, and but we try to go to the Garden of Lights at the Botanical Garden. They do a really good job, like just the amount of lights and stuff that they do out there. But that's just huge like light displays that you can walk through at the gardens.
It's a huge complex with all it's very gorgeous in the summertime with all the gardens there, but in the wintertime they completely transform it into like this Christmassy light wonderland there. And there's, like you said, there's really cool like light displays there, like things you can walk through. Like their biggest, like what they're known for, like this huge like caterpillar. And it's like a rainbow caterpillar, so every like kind of arch that you walk through is a different color, and it's like I don't know, like 50 feet long. Probably even more than that. It's really big. And that's kind of like what they're known for. Like, and they're adding more.
Yeah, they're
every
always
year.
adding like more lights and stuff. So
And they'll do like horse-drawn carriage rides.
Yeah, so you can either walk through it or you can do the carriage ride through it. They usually have like a fire going, and inside,
I remember one year I burnt
yeah,
I burnt my gloves there.
Yeah, like your gloves had like
I think they were like made out of nylon.
Yeah, or something. So it got so warm that they started to melt, and
like on my hands. So like I'm freaking out, and like they were like singeing, like and kind of like condensing together on my hands. I had to like take my glove off real quick, so that was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not something that we do every single year as much as we'd like to. But again, it's just trying to carve out that time to be able to do that.
I know. So like the last couple of years, we've been kind of writing on our calendar like stuff that like is going on, or like we are planning on doing, like, you know, when we're doing our baking days and our candy days and stuff like that. So then we can kind of manage our time as best as we can.
And then, something else that we just, I guess because they recently brought it back, was at the Neville Public Museum downtown. They have Bruce the Spruce. And if you don't know who Bruce the Spruce is, so I guess to kind of explain it, JCPenney's and Yonkers is a thing, or well, Yonkers was a thing that got bought up by JCPenney's.
Yeah.
And before Yonkers was Prangies. And they like their main, like, I think it was like their flagship store was in Green Bay.
Yeah. So, and I don't know how many people are familiar, but it's like a department store.
Yeah, it's just like you know JCPenney, but yeah. So downtown is where Prangies used to be, and my grandma used to work there up at the Terrace Room, which was a like a restaurant up on top of this department store. And during the holiday season, they'd have, just like, you know, in New York at like Macy's or whatever, they'd have like the big window displays. Yep. We'd have that in Green Bay as well. And along with those window displays on the outside, inside was Bruce the Spruce, which is this big talking Christmas tree. It's a big, you know, lit up and, you know, decorated Christmas tree. But then there was someone inside of it that could talk to you. So like kids could go up and talk to, you know, Bruce the Spruce, kind of like the same way like a kid would go to talk to Santa.
Yeah.
And the public museum downtown, which is right across the river from where the old Prangies used to be, they not only have Bruce the Spruce back,
but they have a lot of stuff from those old window
Prangies window, and a lot of it. I don't
know where they got it from, because they didn't always. I think they acquired it from like
just someone who had them, and a lot of them are like the original, because you can tell, like, because some of them have like the wax or the oil buildup on them, or some of them were I think some of them were damaged in a fire.
Yeah,
so they had to restore some of them, but a lot of the stuff that's there is original to this department store.
So cool. Like, I love like seeing the old school like Christmas stuff.
I mean, these things are like 70 years old too.
They're old. But yeah, I know we went last year and they're doing it again this year. So I don't know, like the first year they had all of that stuff from like Prangies and like Bruce the Spruce, but yeah, they are doing it again this year at the Neville Public Museum. You can go and see that. Certain days, like you can see Bruce the Spruce all the time. It's only certain days that they actually have somebody like talking to you, like in there talking to you or whatever. But yeah, like that was like, we took your grandma last year.
And that was a really good experience.
Really fun. So yeah, if we can, you know, maybe try to do it again this year. You know, just doing, I don't know, just that fun like family stuff that you only get to do or see like at Christmas time. But yeah, that was really cool to see.
And I guess like going into the Christmas season, like there's a lot of signs, like obviously the stuff that goes around in town, like the Garden of Lights or going over to the
there's a lot of like tree lighting ceremonies. Like I think like De Pere has one downtown.
Well, and even Lambeau Field has like their big tree lighting ceremony. But I guess
one sure sign
that it is Christmas time in Green Bay is over by Bay Park Square Mall. There's a certain entrance that we always use to go into the mall.
Yep.
And every year on Christmas time, about a week or so before Thanksgiving, they cone off that area that you
Yep.
can't turn into that entrance just because the traffic is just so bad
Yeah.
coming into there. So like we were driving there the other day. I don't remember where we were going. And we kind of looked over by the mall. I'm like, oh, the cones are out. That means it's Christmas time.
It's Christmas time in Green Bay.
So that's another like surefire. It's not a tradition, but it's just like one of those signs. Like it's definitely time.
Yeah.
It's definitely Christmas time in Green Bay.
Yep. That's so funny.
But I guess another tradition that we like to do is just go around and look at Christmas lights.
Yeah, we love that. We obviously like love putting Christmas lights on our house, and you know, I feel like we go pretty big for what we do. Yeah, so we love like when people slow down and are looking at the lights.
Oh, you can definitely tell.
I remember one year we were still at the apartment, and we got, because we have a big inflatable Olaf.
It's
and
like 5 or 6 feet tall.
He's pretty big, and there was a little girl. I think she was I don't know if they were driving by or if they lived.
I think they lived in the apartment complex, like across like the field from us. Like they're not even like the same like or not even the same like apartment structure as we were, like a different one. And like they walked over to our house.
Because it was like her and her mom, and I think this girl was like what, like 4?
Yeah, I think like 4
or something. But she was just so like in awe of Olaf, and like she was so excited, and her mom like brought her over because like she was just so excited. And I know like you went out and like I think you talked to them or something, and
because I think she wanted a picture by the big Olaf.
And I don't know, I just remember that, and it's just like one of those things, you know, like one of the reasons like I guess like why we like doing like the light display like so big. Like I feel like we go so big and we like doing
it's just nice. Like it's obviously we like seeing all the lights and going around and driving at the lights and, you know, looking at other people's displays, but then having that same feeling that they feel like that there's people that like will go out of their way every year to come see your Christmas lights. Like I really like that. Cause I mean, it's not that we didn't put up Christmas lights growing up at the house. Like we definitely did. But I guess like later on, as I grew up, like maybe there wasn't quite as many lights on the house. Cause I remember like growing up, like there was always like quite a bit of, lights on the house, and like our neighborhood in general always had like a lot of lights, and that hasn't really happened as of, you know, the last, you know, 5-10 years or so. But then it's just, you know, nice to kind of keep that tradition going of always having like those like a nicely lit displayed house. So like we'll go around, and I know a couple times we've like stopped and got like hot chocolate from like Starbucks or something, and we've just drove around, and like we'll drive quite a bit around town, like because there's a lot of places in Green Bay that have like really good light displays. It's just they're
out in the middle of nowhere.
Out in the middle of nowhere.
Like from our house, you know, like we're driving like a good like 20-30 minutes some places. Last year we I don't know if you must have got told about like some place. I think it's out in like Oneida.
I think
it's past Oneida or something.
Yeah, it's my grandma and uncle and Jay knew about it. And that's how we were told about it. And they're like, oh, like there's this huge Christmas display out there. And I mean, I only knew that there was this huge Christmas display. I didn't know like to what extent it was. So I don't know why we did it, but like we were in our pajamas at that point. Showers were taken, we're all done, and we were just like, let's drive out there to go see what it is.
Yeah, we'll just, you know, stay in the car and drive.
Yeah. Not thinking like we were gonna have to get out of the car. So I'm not in a jacket. I think
you wear shorts and a t-shirt to bed every night. Like even during wintertime. Like that's just what you wear.
So like, and I wasn't wearing a sweatshirt. I think
you had a sweater.
Maybe. And then I just had like some slip-ons.
Yeah.
And so we're out there, and I'm like, Sammy, let's go out there. And you're already shivering, like just looking at it. Like you can already tell it's gonna be cold out there.
This place that we went to, it was huge. Like I don't know how big, but it was like their house, and then like all around their house was just stuff. Like there was like old school like Christmas molds, like just a whole display that you could literally walk around.
It was something like you'd seen on the Christmas Light Fight on ABC. It was like one of those type of houses.
It was like one of those houses.
Why do you have this much Christmas stuff, and where do you all put it? Like it was one of those. Like I think the whole plot of land was probably probably like half the size of a football field.
Yeah, it was a huge plot of land. But yeah, it was just one of those things where like it's better if you can get out and walk around, which we were not dressed for last
But
year.
I still did it.
We still did it for like a minute, and it was so cold that night. I just remember.
And like you're shivering. I'm like, come on, Sammy, come on.
Yeah, so like we're in our pajamas, and like, you know, my pajamas like did not keep me warm because I didn't have like a jacket on. Like I maybe had my vest on, but I didn't have like another sweatshirt. I don't even know if I had my hat or anything, but I was shivering. I was so cold. Like we didn't even make it once around the house. Like
nope, couldn't.
So,
it was too cold.
It was really cold. But that was really fun, like, because we just went all over the place that night.
Yeah, and there's some houses like in De Pere that are really nice, and they like I like the displays that are like lit up with like the new like the type of pixel lights that you can kind of program, or like they were going to like off with music. And there's a couple houses that we've seen that have like big like almost like TV monitors out in front.
Yeah, so that they were like playing like parts of like Christmas shows and.
Or like we saw one out in De Pere that was doing like Heat Miser and Snow Miser, which you really liked.
Yep.
So like seeing like those, and then there's like some of the traditional ones, like kind of like our house or our neighborhood, our neighbors across the street, the Dinkelbergs. They have like a pretty nice Christmas display up too. Or there's this house over on the far west side of town that has like a huge gazebo in their front yard. They usually do like a really nice job. Like,
is that the pink house?
It's the pink house.
Yeah.
So like it's nice to see like some of the more traditional, just kind of like the string lights and like the gutter lights, and you know, everything kind of wrapped around with some like the old school like blow molds. Mm-hmm. And then you get like the ones that are like the super high tech. Like I spent like the last 3 months like computer, you know, doing this all on the computer type of light show. So it's really fun to see both of those, but just to go around and, you know, have a nice night driving around town with some hot chocolate, listen to some Christmas music, and you know, see all the lights. Yeah, we gotta do that every year.
Yeah, every year we do that.
So I think one something I want to bring up.
Yes, I think we should talk about it.
We should
probably have a conversation.
We need to have a conversation here.
Not saying that Tyler has a problem.
It's not a problem. It's just I'm very particular when it comes to a certain aspect of Christmas, and that is presents. Obviously, we've talked about, you know, when we like to have presents kind of, you know, bought by, and, you know, when we wrap them, it's how I wrap them.
Yes.
I do not keep the same wrapping paper from year to year.
It does not reuse wrapping paper.
I cannot reuse wrapping paper. It's not.
Don't worry, it does not go to waste. Most of the time, we give it to like your mom and grandma, and they will reuse it. We do reuse a couple for like the girls, like Maya and Lacey, like because they'll do Christmas presents.
Yeah, they'll give us Christmas presents,
and
we'll
use a different wrapping paper.
But for me personally, I cannot use the same wrapping paper from year to year. So every year I need to find new wrapping paper, and every year there needs to be multiple rolls, so multiple different designs on the wrapping paper, and they all have to go together.
Yep.
As of lately, this has been very difficult. Now, I'm talking right to you, Target. Listen to me. I'm sick of having to go to your store every year and finding a wrapping paper that I really love, and then nothing that goes with it.
And then you gotta settle.
Then I have to settle. It's very frustrating, and this is just the way that I operate. And it's probably my toxic trait, especially when it comes to Christmas. As it needs to be new wrapping paper. It needs to be something different. And for a long time there, it had to be a certain type of wrapping paper. I was going to say, colors.
when we first got together, it always had to be shiny.
Yeah,
it always had to be shiny.
I will not use the double-sided. Like,
oh no, I won't use that either. It has to have the grid
lines on it. It has to be a certain type of material now, which I have changed, because before, like you said, it used to be shiny. Back when I wasn't thinking and like shiny wrapping paper. But it's very difficult to find wrapping paper.
This year was really hard.
And even last year too. And so last year, like, I feel like I had to settle last year because I think I went with dinosaur wrapping paper.
I think you did.
And that's definitely not something that is my aesthetic.
Yeah.
and I was able to find wrapping paper this year, and all three of them do go together well. They aren't meant to go together, but they do go together
They
well.
do go. Yeah, they're very nice.
And they're all from Target.
Yeah.
But do better, Target.
Yeah, hopefully next year's a little like, and I had such a hard time. So I ended up picking the one that you really well, and I really liked it too, but it was the one that didn't go with anything.
And it's the one that I would have preferred to have. Like,
Yeah.
I absolutely loved this wrapping paper. It was like a blue wrapping paper, which I like to have like the blues and the neutrals for the most part. And
it had a little bit of pink in it.
Had a
And
little-
that's another thing. Add more pink to your Christmas stuff or to any holiday stuff. Like, I like pink.
It's not just for Valentine's Day.
So just add more pink stuff to your holidays. But anyways, so I ended up picking it. And I'm like, I don't care. I'll just wrap all the presents in the same one.
And I was like, you heathen, I can't do that.
I was struggling a little bit, but I'm like, I couldn't find anything that I really liked. And I didn't have enough for what I used last year to use for this year, because I have in the past reused wrapping paper.
Mm-hmm.
I will buy new stuff, but if I can kind of, if I know I have enough and I really like the stuff from the previous year, like, I'll reuse it. But luckily we did have a roll that I think matched pretty well with this one from last year. So I'm like, I'm just gonna use it. And I was smart and I bought an extra thing of pink tags that Target had. I don't know if it was last year or the year before.
That you really, really liked, and they just happened to go with your wrapping paper this year.
So I made out, and I only had to buy one roll because it was one of the big rolls of wrapping paper. And so
that is just, it is, I can't.
But yeah, with you, it's always like, it's got to be new wrapping paper. It's like at least 2 different designs, preferably
3. And I feel like no one, I feel like no other person has this issue. I'm sure there are, but I feel like no other person has this issue like I do. Like, I'm strictly like, I have to have new wrapping paper. It has to be different colors than last year.
Yeah.
It has to be a certain type of paper. It has to be like a certain type of design on it. I don't like the ones that have like writing on it, which this year I do have writing on it, which is really weird that I have that. Usually I don't get like a really bright red wrapping paper, which this year I did. So I feel like this year I definitely settled. But it just depends on what's available. And
it was the best that you had.
And I'm making the best of it. And I do think everything goes together really, really well. And I do like the wrapping paper that I have this year. But again, Target, do better.
Yeah. So yeah, and if you couldn't tell, like, he definitely wraps his own presents. Like, we're not a couple like where I have to do all the wrapping or I have to do all the gift buying because like he's a guy and he doesn't do that kind of thing or something.
I hate that that's like a thing where like, oh, the guys don't do that. Like, I'm also to the point where like I know which presents I want Sammy to like open in order. So with that being said, like, I make sure, like, I try to make them all like be separate, like, wrapping colors. So like you're not wrapping like 2 red snowflake presents in a row. I'll mark. So like, okay, so going back to presents, this is another thing that I do. It's probably another toxic trait. So like I will get like really like into the pricing of our Christmas presents. Like I want to know every single.
He's in charge of the spreadsheet.
So I have a spreadsheet that has from 2011, our first Christmas together. Well, not our first Christmas. Together, our second Christmas together. So I know, but maybe
our third.
No. 2000.
Because 2009 we started dating.
Yeah, so 2009 would have been our first Christmas. So 2010. So I think I actually have it starting from 2010. I have a spreadsheet on my computer of all the Christmas presents that I have bought. Not only Sammy, but my entire family, how much they cost, how much I finally paid for them, what was the original cost of them, where I bought them from, if I used any.
And there's pictures.
I haven't done that in 2 years now.
Okay, I was gonna say you've done I've seen them like after it's all said and done. I've seen the pictures.
Yes. Okay. So I need to do this. So I have this spreadsheet. It has what number box it's in, because I'll box everything up and then wrap them. So then like I'll put like a little number in the corner of the box to let me know like what present I'm wrapping, what's in the box. how much the initial price was of it, how much I finally paid for it when it was all said and done, and if I used any of like my cash back or my Capital One or Discover rewards or Shopkick. If I used any sort of like discount on it, it'll be shown up there. It'll say where I bought it from. If it's something from like the family, it'll say like if Sammy bought it or I bought it from. It'll say, and it'll accumulate like all the total that like it would have cost if I just bought everything like just at regular retail price and what I paid for at the end. It'll say the percentage that I saved at the very end, and at the very bottom it'll calculate everything from between like Sammy and the entire family, and then it'll reference to what I paid last year to see like how much money extra I saved, or how much extra money I spent, and the percent of money that I spent or I saved on the Christmas presents that year. With that, I also had a separate sheet which had pictures of all the stuff that I bought Sammy. So like if I had all the boxes, let's say I had 12 boxes, I would have 12 little boxes on like a PowerPoint spreadsheet where I would show like, this is what's in box number 1. Oh, this is a pair of Christmas pajamas. This is a Keurig machine. This is all the books that I put in this box. Like it would be like that. So then I could visually see everything to make sure like it looks like she got like some really fun stuff. And like and then I could be like, oh yeah, this is what I got her last year. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Ladies, this is why you don't settle, because like this, like he is the best gift giver like ever. Like he comes up with ideas, like stuff like I didn't even know I wanted, and like he is just like, yeah, Sammy's gonna love this, and I love it. And I love that you keep track of like your own presents and you're in charge of your own wrapping. Like and it's just something that we like to do together, like, you know, wrapping and, you know, picking out new wrapping paper for the year and all of that. So I
get really into like Christmas presents.
And it's like the same thing with like, I don't know, like packing your Disney suitcase or any vacation really. Like you do that, like you're in charge of like your own clothes. Like I'm not like gotta go pack Tyler's suitcase or like, you know, gotta like wrap presents, you know, for everybody because Tyler doesn't do, like, no, like you like do that. And like I know that's not like something like everybody like does.
Yeah. And I just feel like, especially when it comes to Christmas presents, I'm very anal. I'm very like precise of what needs to happen. I'm just very like detail oriented.
But it doesn't like take away from like any of like our.
It doesn't harm anybody. Just let me have my moments where I need to do this.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt you. It's fine. We're still good.
Oh my gosh. But no, I mean you just keep track of all that stuff, and it just, I don't know, it doesn't bother me.
It's just like
I think like if you just heard that, you'd probably like, oh my gosh, this guy is like a crazy like accountant
He's
person.
a freaking lunatic.
But it's not that bad. Like it just,
you'd be thinking like Sammy, what is, like, blink twice if you're in trouble or something. No, it's just I especially like doing this spreadsheet with like saying like how much like we've spent or saved. Like I really like looking at that and being like, okay, all the stuff that I bought, you know, my mom this year would have cost me, regular retail price would have been like $400. But at the end of the day, between Sam and I, we only paid $50. Like, I just like seeing that. And it's just like a sense of accomplishment. And it's like, I just need to do it every year. So like, and I'll get really, really specific on it. So like, if we had like a $25 gift card that we got for some reason, like, and if we bought 4 things, I'll figure out what the percentage of that $25 gift card went to that one thing. So if one thing is 10, one thing is 30, one thing is 5, and one thing is like $13.99, I will figure out percentage-wise how much of the total each of those things was, if it was like 10% or 30, and then we'll figure out what was 25% or what was 30% of that $25 gift card, and then we'll take that off of that price, so that way we spent this much money on this specific thing. I know it sounds insane, because it is, but it's just the way that I operate for Christmas presents, and I just like seeing how much we saved on things.
I was gonna say that's probably like, so when we do our Christmas presents to each other, that's probably like one of the funnest things like that we get to do is like tell like our stories of like how we got this Christmas present,
Yeah.
like how much we spent on it, or
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, so like this happened when I was buying it and like the cashier put in like this wrong number or gave me like this extra discount or whatever the
Something
case
was
is.
shipped incorrectly or whatever. Like,
Yeah, so I got like this bonus thing or something like that. So I love like when we get to tell the stories of like how we got or like
Mhm.
the presents or like how much we spent, you know, because we'll tell each other like, oh my gosh, you'll never believe the deal I got on this. It was this much, but then I had this and this or
And
whatever.
I feel like that's really like a Midwestern thing
I was
to do.
just gonna say, like, tell me you're from the Midwest by but not telling me that you're from the Midwest. And
I got it from Kohl's. I had a 30% coupon.
Sale. I'm like, oh my god.
But yeah, so I guess
We're gonna have to retitle this like Tyler's TED Talk with his spreadsheet or something.
It's how it works, okay?
Yeah.
So speaking of Christmas presents, once that is all said and done and all the Christmas presents are wrapped accordingly to the right color Christmas wrapping paper and put underneath the tree, going into the Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, we do Christmas Eve at our house.
Yeah, and that's like a big thing. Like
Yes.
we kind of took that over mainly because we have several people that we buy for.
Mm-hmm.
So there's quite a few presents under the tree.
Yes.
And
some years it's a lot.
And that's a lot of presents to transport to other houses. So it's a lot easier for everyone to come over, just do like a nice like meal. We switch it up at like almost every year, like which is really nice. But yeah, we have everyone over for dinner, and we've been doing like some sort of like game or something, or like White Elephant or Secret Santa.
We've done the Saran Wrap ball game. I think we might do something like that this year.
Yeah. And usually I will stress about what dessert I'm gonna make. I'll probably cry over the cake decorating. Last year I was really smart and I'm like, I'm just doing cupcakes, and they were the cutest cupcakes.
And they were really good.
They were really good cupcakes. So I might do that again this year. But I'm just like, I like to try like something new or something. I don't know, like if I see something on Pinterest or I don't know, like I'm like, oh, so that looks really cute. So I'm like the person that I get this really cute idea and I go to Tyler and I'm like, I want to do this. Help me like make this happen.
And we make it. And I think that's kind of funny. Like our Christmas tradition is trying something new for dessert every single year. So it's not like the same type of dessert.
Yeah, it's usually
so like it's not a tradition, but it is a tradition.
Yeah. 1 year, it probably won't be this year, but I would like to try like a Yule log. I've seen those like on like the baking shows or whatever, and I'm like, I would like to try my hand in one of those. But yeah, so usually something fun and exciting for dessert and a nice meal, and yeah, we open Christmas presents
and we watch Elf while we
watch Elf.
Lately, it's been like while we are opening a Christmas present, just because we can kind of do two things at the same time. And like you mentioned, Christmas presents usually take a little bit longer because there's so many of us in the house.
Yeah, I think we're up to like there's 9 of us in the house now.
And then something with the Christmas presents that we definitely give out is that every person gets some sort of personalized or specific or memorable type of gift.
Yes.
And that's like their big gift. So it might not
AKA
be
AKA the gift that's gonna make your mom cry.
Yeah. It's not necessarily like the biggest gift or not the most expensive gift, but it's the most meaningful gift.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we really strive to do, just because Christmas presents in general and Christmas in general can definitely get into one of those seasons of just needlessly getting things if you don't need them, or like, maybe the presents are some people kind of think of presents as, something more of like, you need to give presents instead of wanting to give presents.
Yeah. So, and I don't know. And I like, we do a lot, like most of us do like Amazon wish lists just because it's easy for most people to see them and add to them and stuff, so I think it's just really easy just to like, click and add to cart and buy, and like you're done. We definitely like to put in like a lot of thought, and and we do buy like, from wish lists and stuff, but I think we definitely try to like buy things that aren't on somebody's wish list, or you come across something and be like, oh my gosh, like so and so would love this, and and it's not something that's on their wish list. And So I think we really like to do that, especially like with each other. Like I definitely like will stress myself out trying to get that present for you. Thankfully I already got that this year. So, and I'm really proud of it. But yeah, so like everyone has like some kind of like personalized, like meaningful gift. And usually those are the ones that we're like most excited for them to open.
Yeah. And like you said, like the one from, we always try to strive for like my mom's one is the one to make her cry.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't really take much, to be honest. Like, and it's very sweet. But yeah, we do like a lot of like personalized stuff like on Shutterfly. This year we did something a little bit different for her, and I'm super excited for her to open it. Like we can't say it yet because this comes out before Christmas, but
I think
we kind of, yes, with your mom, and she's gonna love it. But yeah, and I think that just because I heard that someplace like from someone like they buy Christmas presents like, and they look at it as like buying stuff like people wouldn't buy for themselves. You know, whether that's something that they need or something that they would just like because, you know, or whatever.
They just like it and just, you know,
yeah.
It's not necessarily something that they need to have like right now that they need to get it, but like, you know, they would want to have it. Yeah, so like, we really do work really hard to get some really thoughtful gifts and meaningful gifts, and again, everyone gets that really personalized presents, and that's what we consider their big gift or their last gift is that meaningful one. So then the day after Christmas Eve, it's obviously Christmas Day, and that's when we usually go over to my mom's house.
Well, scratch that. When do we do presents for each other? Because
it depends.
Because very early on in our relationship, it was strictly Christmas Day. You were strictly a Christmas Day person. Yeah. And with all the stuff, like with having, because we started doing Christmas Eve like pretty early on, like I think within like the first year or two of us being at the apartment. So that's like 2011, I think was the first. Yeah, we moved in the apartment in 2011. Yeah. And yeah, it just gets really hard, like, you know, having everybody over and then figuring out when to do presents, like with my mom and sister, and then like, you know, going over to like your mom and grandma's and stuff. So you've kind of changed a little bit.
Yeah. So, and I guess like the main reason why that happened, in my mind, from like what I can remember as to why I was so like adamant that we had to do it Christmas Day, is that my mom works at a nursing facility, so she has alternating holidays, which growing up usually meant most of the time that she'd have to work Christmas Day. Now, she will tell you that that's not the case, and it was every other one, but that is not the case.
It's been that way, I think, most of the time since we've been together. It's been alternating.
But it always seemed as if growing up, that my mom more often than not had to work Christmas Day, and that's just how I remember it. So I think what had happened is that when we first started hosting and how we did Christmas presents with the two of us, is that I was adamant that it needed to be Christmas Day is because my mom was working Christmas Day, which means that we weren't going over to my mom's or grandma's house right away in the morning to do Christmas presents. So we had to do I don't want to say to fill the morning and to do something in the morning, but like it made more sense to do it in the morning because my mom had to work on Christmas Day, which means we weren't doing Christmas at the house until closer to like 2 or 3 o'clock when she got done. That's how I remember it. Now, whether that is the case or not, I don't know, because we all know that I don't have a good brain.
You have a good brain. I think sometimes your memory just gets a little...
Thank you.
Foggy, but you have me.
So that's how I remember it starting. So that's why I was like, well, we need to do a Christmas Day because mom's working, but we'll do that. And then the enabler you are started pushing like, well, what do we do at like Christmas Eve night? Like,
so like after everyone goes home, and it's like super, like we would stay, sometimes it'd be like midnight. We would do our presents because technically it would be Christmas Day.
Technically.
Yeah.
And that was the excuse, like, well, we're still doing them Christmas Day. It's just like at 12:01 in the morning. So like You're right away on Christmas. And then now lately, the last couple of years, it seems like we'll do Christmas Eve with the family at our house. We will pack everything up from your mom and sister. We'll bring them home, and then we'll do Christmas over there.
Yeah. Well, that was a few years. Like last couple years, I think they've brought their presents over here, and we've done them before.
So like that's
it's an evolving thing.
So that's what we were doing. We were going over to your mom's house after Christmas Eve, and then we would do them there. Because
they also work in like an assisted living place, and they a lot of times would have to work Christmas and
so stuff. We would do them really late, and then when we come home, that's where it was like, oh well, it's 12:01 on Christmas morning, like we could do them then. And then now lately, the last couple of years, they've been bringing all of their presents to us over beforehand.
Yep.
And like the Christmas presents to one another. So like we'll do a small Christmas. The four of us before my family will come over, and then we'll do all that. So like it's kind of evolved a little bit, but now that that's happened, that we'll do Christmas with your mom and sister at our house before the rest of my family comes in over. Then that leaves afterwards, after Christmas Eve dinner is all done and we're all done opening presents and everyone goes home. Then that leaves us time to do Christmas.
Yeah, and it's varied. Like we have done it like after everyone leaves. But I don't know if it was last year or the year before, we did wait until Christmas morning and we did presents.
And I think, again, it probably was more or less, did mom have to work that day? Or like, and I think it also depends on like how really excited we are for giving each other like the gifts.
Yeah.
Because if we've got some good gifts that we want to give, like we don't want to wait any longer.
Yeah, like we have a tendency to just kind of give gifts early. But it is a nice feeling, I think, like still waking up on Christmas Day, like knowing that you still have like some presents to open.
Mm-hmm.
So it just kind of varies as to like what's going on that day and like I guess how we're feeling and I get, and like what time, like we're doing presents with everyone else too.
And I think we've also, in the last year or two, because like, I started off this thing where, I wanted to push the idea of, our two dogs, our girls, Maya and Lacey, giving us gifts.
Yeah.
So I will the girls will buy gifts for you, and then I will wrap them for them because they've got paws and toe beans and they can't wrap their own presents. And then, it'll say like to Mamio from Maya and Lacey, and then vice versa.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. So then I guess it depends on like when we also do those presents. Like, do we do those at nights or do we do those in the mornings? We have something to open up on Christmas morning. It kind of evolves, but I guess we don't have like a set like. This is definitely when we're going to do like together presents, but it just kind of whenever it works.
It's either late on Christmas Eve or it's like, Christmas, first thing Christmas morning.
And then Christmas morning, depending on when and if my mom has to work, we'll go over to my grandma's house, my mom's house. We, for as long as I can remember, Christmas, we'd always do Christmas in our family room, which used to be the old garage. And then growing up, when I was younger, they converted the garage into an additional living space. So it's a family room there. And they have a love seat and a couch. And we always sit in the same exact spots every year.
It was the first Christmas that I was invited over, like Christmas Day. Like we got the love seat and that's where we sat ever since.
And then... So we'll go there and mom will still give us our Christmas presents and we'll kind of go around.
And when we first got together, she still did Santa gifts. Yep. I don't remember what year she stopped doing those, but she did that. It was a few years like we were together and she did specific Santa gifts and then like her gifts to us. Because growing up, you guys had, obviously like your Santa gifts and,
So, and that's something that kind of and then that kind of evolved into her getting rid of like Saint Nick gifts and Easter Bunny gifts. And then we're like, no, Mom, we're still, we're still young enough to have those. And then I remember one year I'm like, no, we don't need those. And you were like, what? Like, no, we can still have Saint Nick gifts. So we don't get Santa gifts anymore because Santa's got other things that he's got to worry about.
And that's been for a while. Like I think we kind of told her like you don't have to do like the separate Santa gifts. But I mean she's done Saint Nick gifts. I think last year was the first year. I don't think she did Saint Nick, or was it this year she didn't? Or
well, this year This year we don't know because by the time we're
last
recording,
year,
we haven't done it yet.
But
I don't
which is fine. You know, your mom, I don't know, like your mom's amazing, and like she always goes out of her way to do those extra special things for us, and we really appreciate that. So I mean, by no means does she have to do that at all.
Right.
But
I mean, you still can. Yeah, so I mean that's kind of how things work, and I know especially the last couple of years after we open up our last Christmas presents from the family, then it's usually you, me, Jay will like go on like box lunch and like just start buying
box lunch, shop Disney. Like I remember like we had like a cart full of like, because we got like those ears and like some other stuff because they're running all their Christmas clearance sales now,
and they'll run them like right on Christmas Day because no one's buying Christmas presents on Christmas Day apparently, so we'll hop on there and we'll see what's on clearance. So that's, I guess, been a tradition too. Yeah, like the three of us enabling each other, be like, oh yeah, this is you need sale. This. Yeah. You'd be stupid not to get it. It's 70% off. I don't care if it's $500. It's 70% off. You still need it, Jay. But yes, I mean that's kind of how Christmas rolls for us, and you know,
and I don't know, and it's just like a fun like 2-day thing, like you know, because like Christmas Eve has obviously become like a bigger thing at our house, and it
means a lot to the both of us. Like Christmas Eve really, I think, means more to me than Christmas Day. Not that Christmas Day doesn't hold any meaning, and like obviously we still go over to my mom's house and grandma's house, and we still, you know, do all of that stuff with our family there. But just being able to host.
We love hosting. We love hosting. We love being extra. we may not be as extra as some people, or as like May from Home Sweet Pink.
Yeah.
She's really extra, and I love it.
And a very sincere and good way.
Yes,
that is not knocking you down at all, May. We love seeing your
stuff. If you're
listening,
I don't know if she listens, but her stuff, like she is just like her stuff is so cute, and she's definitely like an aspiration for my home to be all pink. But yeah, like we like being extra. We like doing like the extra things. Like I know last year we got for dinner, like we got the big folding table. We got like some really cute like tablecloths, and we got chair covers and that were white. And this year we have like some pink snowflake like placemats. So I don't know. I like being extra. I like doing that and like having those things. And you know, and a lot of times, you know, like, and especially like when it comes to like the Christmas candies and cookies and stuff, like, you know, like if we're not doing it, like we don't get that stuff. Like, you know,
if we're not doing it, I don't know who else is gonna do it.
Yeah, you know, it's just, you know, that. So I don't want that stuff to like, I guess, die out. You know, especially like the Christmas candies. Like that's like one of my favorite like things to do. Like it probably takes like the most work out of like anything we do throughout the year.
But it's the most worthwhile.
Yeah, and you know, and everyone loves it. So, but we love hosting. Like I don't mind like hosting like holidays and stuff, and it's one of the bigger holidays that we get to do. So I like it, and that's probably why I stress myself out every year about the dessert.
But in this time of year, it's obviously so meaningful and special to us. And that's kind of why we wanted to do this episode, just to kind of bring everyone in and just kind of share with you what we do for our traditions. And I know one of the main, you know, Christmassy movies or specials that we watch every year is Olaf's Frozen Adventure, which is essentially just Olaf going around and finding everyone's traditions to bring to Anna and Elsa. And that's kind of what stemmed this episode.
I was going to say that's what it's inspired by it. Like I don't know, like I don't know if we were just talking about it but I'm just like, yeah, like I mean, Olaf's going around finding all these traditions. What if we just tell everybody about like our traditions and like what we like doing and all that, and I love hearing like what other people do for the holidays, because like there's like some families like they get together and they do some of like the funnest things. Like I remember one year, I think it's for Christmas, like your friend David and his family, like is it like games or something that they do?
Yeah, they would do like a huge game night with them.
And his family's huge. Like it, I don't know how many people were there.
He's got lots of brothers and sisters.
Yeah, and one year we were invited over for it. And like that was just so fun. But yeah, I just, you know, I love hearing what other people do, and like, you know, is there a way, like, you know, is that something like we want to try doing? Because I think that's like how like the saran wrap ball.
Yeah, we're very open to like new ideas and trying new things, because if we like them, then it's going to stick around. Because, like you said, the saran wrap game, like, is something that we just kind of like, oh, well, that would be kind of fun to try, and then we did it, and everyone really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
So like it stuck around. But then I think my mom had surgery, and then my uncle had surgery, so like neither of those were like we weren't able to do
last year. Yeah.
So
then we did White Elephant last year,
which was okay.
Yeah.
But you know, I think when we brought up the idea of doing something again this year, the saran wrap game got like a resounding like, yeah, we need to do that again.
Do that. So so I love doing that. And I think for me personally, I mean, not to get like downhearted or anything, but like growing up, like I just didn't get to do a lot of that stuff. Like it just, you know, it was just me, my mom, and my sister. Like my mom works a lot, and like we just didn't have a lot of like those like traditions and stuff. So I don't know if I'm like trying to like
make up for like lost time.
Yeah, or whatever. But I love like adding new things or something different. So we're all about like trying out new things, and you know, and it makes for like the best memories. Like it really just makes the holiday season extra special, and something that you can look back on and be like, oh my gosh, you remember that one time like we did this? Or like when your mom did have her foot surgery, we literally had to make ramps to get her into the house because she couldn't walk. Not that our house doesn't have that many steps, but she still couldn't do them. So like you had to make ramps and like push her in the house, and we weren't really sure if she was going to be able to make it over. And we almost did Christmas Eve like at their house because we weren't really sure about it, but we made it work.
And I think that's just I guess a key takeaway. Like it's, you know, it's spending time with the family. So like you'll do whatever you need to do to like make sure that will happen. So and Christmas is about being together. It's also about being accommodating to, you know, to everyone. And it's just, you know, just enjoying being with one another and just showing that gratitude. And you know, that's something obviously that we really like to do, whether between sending out Christmas cards to family and friends, or sending out the almond thumbprint cookies to your dad, or finding that really meaningful gift that's just going to make mom sob as she opens it up at the end. You know, that's like, that to us is what Christmas is all about.
Yeah, for sure. Like we love spending time with our family, and like we said, we have some of like the best memories, and you know, just those memorable Christmases, you know, like where you got them like that special gift. The one that I'm thinking right now is like your mom's blanket, that fleece blanket that we made her. Didn't come in time for Christmas. So we kind of did like a special like after Christmas thing for it, and I mean, she loved it, and I don't know. So it's just it's just, I don't know, just making the holidays extra special. And I think any way that we can do that, I don't know, we just do.
But if there's any like special Christmas traditions that you guys celebrate, we'd love to hear about them. You know, like we also said, if you guys have something really fun that you guys do, we'd love to see. Maybe we might steal it.
Yeah, we might. I don't know. Like I just love hearing. Also, I like hearing about like different cultures and stuff. Like if like, I don't know, if you have like a different faith or a different culture, or like, I don't know, different like food and like recipes. Like yeah, I don't know. I just love like hearing about it, and like, yeah, if we can try it out like in some way, like I'm all for that too. So yeah, let us know what your like Christmas/holiday traditions are. I don't know, there's just so many out there, and like so many different ones. Yeah, we'd love to hear them. So
but yeah, we really appreciate everyone for sticking around and listening to today's episode, and all the love we get over on the Instagram page and the YouTube page. You can find our accounts over on both of those at Team Unicorn Podcast. A lot of our information and content goes right onto Instagram. So keep following along on there. We'll be posting throughout the holiday season some fun stuff. You know, if we have some extra fun things to kind of sprinkle on throughout the season, we'll definitely do that as well.
Yep. And we'll have a special Team Unicorn year wrapped in review.
Yeah, wrapped year in review.
Yeah, or something.
Coming up here next week.
Yeah.
Just to kind of go over all the fun stuff that we did this past year, and what to look forward into 2023.
From the Team Unicorn podcast, me and Tyler, we just wanted to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, whatever you're celebrating.
Mm-hmm.
We just want to send best wishes and love to all of you. I know sometimes like this time of year can be really hard for people, but we hope that you found a little bit of joy and magic in today's episode. And so just sending love and wishes to everyone.
And then for today's episode of the Team Unicorn podcast, I'm Tyler.
I'm Sammy.
And it's been magical.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Team Unicorn podcast. You can find us on all major podcast platforms as well as YouTube. Make sure to subscribe, like, and review wherever you are listening, and follow us on Instagram to keep up with all things Team Unicorn. And remember, stay magical.